Um, Hi. Wrong side. There we go. uh, Welcome to our wonderful Brown Dog Gadgets Build Things live stream. So today we're going to be doing some fun wearable electronics. So we are going to make a classic LED bracelet, such as this guy here, except we're not going to be using conductive thread, which takes way too much time and effort. We're going to be using conductive tape instead to make a fun wearable that is equally as cool to wear, but way less effort, because sewing is tough to do, especially with kids. So I'm Josh from Brown Dog Gadgets. Ta-da! The project you see today, as well as any other project you see on our live stream, can be found on our website. We always have our directions up there for free. If you need materials, you can also get them from us, but if you have a lot of fun STEM materials around, you probably don't need all the stuff from us. So let's go to our wonderful overhead view and talk about conductive sewing bracelets and wearables. Yay, overhead view. So typically, when you're doing a project like this, you're going to be using conductive thread, you can see here, little stitches, with parts that are specifically made for sewing. Using a regular LED for conductive sewing projects is really obnoxious to do because the legs aren't meant to bend and twist, especially be sewn through. A lot of people try using them that way, but they just aren't great. They're not really meant that way. We use our Crazy Circuits components here, which are Lego compatible, for conductive sewing projects because they're a hard PCB, you can sew through them, and it's nice and tight like a button. But this is a lot of effort, especially when having kids do sewing projects. And as much as I love wearables, having kids do sewing activities, especially younger kids, it's just not doable. Even for a lot of adults, doing a quick wearable electronics project, a lot of hand stitching it takes a lot of time and effort. Not everybody likes to do sewing or has the skills to do the sewing to make something just light up, especially something simple. I mean, you can see here there's a lot of hand stitching, and you're sewing on really 4 specialized buttons. So instead of doing it this way, we're going to use some of our conductive maker tape, which is a fabric-based conductive tape. And here we have a little strip of it right here. And this is literally the same kind of material you'll find in your nylon conductive thread. It's a nylon mesh. The nice part about this is it's sticky on both sides, so it'll stick onto your fabric. It bends and flexes and folds because it is a fabric-based tape. It's really tough to rip by hand. If you really try, you can do it, but it's nice and durable, so it works really well for fabrics. We have a lab coat on this side of this room that we have a bunch of conductive tape on with LEDs on the back, just as a fun, quick, make something interesting for a teaching conference. But we can take the same tape and some regular LEDs and make something very similar to this with much less time and effort involved. So today we're going to give that a whirl. Now this is a new activity for us. We've been kicking this idea around for a bit, but we haven't actually put one together until now. We've got a couple sort of working versions to the side. We're going to try something new out today. To do this, you're going to need the following items. A coin cell battery, such as a CR2032, pretty common 3-volt battery source. You're going to need a regular LED, be it a 5mm. We're using big jumbo 10mm LEDs because they're nice and large and interesting. Let's use this red one here today. And you're going to need some maker tape as well as some felt. I have some scissors here, pretty much the big tool I need. And depending on how you want to build this project, you might want to use a safety pin too to keep it all together. First and foremost, let's look at the examples we made up randomly the other day. This is one really quick example of one we did with our maker tape and an LED, just super simple with a little happy face down here. Thanks, Pete, for the happy face.
Welcome.
Yay, thanks, Pete. And for this kind of project, you can just tape it together, pin it together, binder clip it together. Gosh, even a paper clip I think would hold it together. And this would be a nice starting point to then add some other felt and some other designs on top of here with just glue or fabric glue. Again, if this is a kid's project, using some Elmer's glue on this for a 1-day project or 2-day project, they're happy, they're kids. But this is just one simple way of hooking it together. Now, Pete also came up with an interesting way as you're sitting in his office of making a non-safety pin way of hooking things together. Pete took a classic approach of making 3 slits in his bracelet here, so you could easily come back around and weave it in and out to make a non-button, non-snap, I don't know, what would you kind of call this connection, Pete?
Friction.
A friction connection.
Yeah.
There we go. That's a good way.
And this is that's the stiffer felt. so it kind of holds well. There's thinner kind
Oh,
of,
yeah. This I think this
it's
is
a
from
little
like Dollar
stiffer.
Tree from years ago. Yeah, just some standard, maybe thicker felt. We've got a couple different varieties. I think some of this might be from a Michael's Craft Store. This is from Amazon. This is definitely a thicker, stiffer piece of felt than this stuff is, or that other stuff is just thin, cheap stuff from Dollar Store. But
The
definitely,
the last time I bought a pack of like 100, 200 sheets or whatever, I think like half of them were the thicker,
oh, really?
stiffer, and then they mixed in, so I think variety packs come like that. I don't know.
Sure. I mean, you
Yeah.
get lots of felt from lots of different places. We just mostly grab ours for our kits, even off of Amazon, just because it's inexpensive felt. But there's a lot of ways you could use to connect things together, even just using some maker tape. So first and foremost, you've got wrists. So you want to make sure your bracelet. We're gonna use this wonderful brown color.
That's green.
Oh, it's green. I'm colorblind. Is an appropriate size for the wrist at hand, and we're just gonna make this overly large today so it looks better on camera. So just cut something, a couple inches wide, and yeah, watching me cut on camera.
I found that you want it to feel good on your wrist. If it's too thin, maybe you want a dainty thin one, but I liked a nice kind of wide band on my wrist. It felt comfortable.
I mean, this is what, an inch or so, inch and a half, maybe.
It's like 25 millimeters,
If
maybe.
only we had rulers on this pad here. It looks like, yeah, inch and a half.
Pretty
Yay,
good.
eyeballed. Yeah, we have measurements on this sheet. So do that. Then you're going to take your LED. Get this in the middle of the screen here. Take your LED, and you're going to notice a couple interesting things about your LED. First off, it has two legs, a positive and a negative leg. The positive is long, the negative is short. We're going to bend these legs outward, splay the legs, do a Jean-Claude Van Damme type split with them. Oh yes, I went to Jean-Claude Van Damme territory. And I like to do for projects like this, kind of give them a little second twist on the side to give a little more surface area to adhere to, like so. Kind of like little offshoots here, like a little windmill or a little fan. And then we're just gonna put it somewhere on our fabric. Ta-da! I'm gonna put it right here in the center to make life easy. Yay! Then we're just gonna add tape and a battery. There's two ways of doing this when you put this all together. Pete earlier went with the always on approach like this. And this works pretty well. You could just peel up this battery to turn it off. And you're good. I mean, the maker tape will come on and off quite a few times because it's nice and durable, even off this felt. Or we're going to try to put together here so that when you put it to wrap it around on itself, it'll turn on and off, which is the way we do it with our conductive sewing bracelets using button snaps. But again, using button snaps requires you to sew things on. It's a nice kinesthetic click to everything, but again, this is a lot of sewing. Again, for kids, even I hate doing this much sewing, and it just gets obnoxious. And the maker tape is a little more consistent. But we're doing this nice little kids project. So we're going to go like this. We're going to come out from here to this side and just make a little area, a line here for connection. Come down this way to our battery and back over again to make another line here. We're going to make a tape loop on this side so it all sticks together with just conductive tape. If the tape is sticking to itself, it should be pretty easy to get it on and off from each other. So if you're watching, drop a comment because we love seeing comments from people actually watching our videos. And if you're watching and don't like what you see, also drop a comment. We will then just ignore it. So our maker tape is pretty cool stuff. Shout out to Hackster.io who put a very nice video up today talking about our maker tape and showing it off. Maker tape is a nylon conductive tape. Thanks to XL Networks. You guys are so nice. And the cool thing about this tape is not only is it flexible and wonderfully fabric, it's also conductive on top and bottom. So I can just lay a piece of tape over my LED leg and come down. And then I'm just going to do a right angle fold here. Since it's nice and durable, I can do a nice right angle fabric fold. Like so.
Josh, you said it's conductive top and bottom. It's all the way through, right?
Yes, it is. So what I'm actually going to do with this is I'm going to make a couple little layers that are overlapping along here. So I have a nice big conductive area on the bottom so I can connect the front and back sides. And I've done this for a few projects, just conducting overlapping like this. It's a nice way to make a nice big conductive area with zero effort involved. as long as they're overlapping, or heck, just have one piece connecting them all together, you've got a nice big conductive pad down here to interact with. Probably should have checked which was positive, which was negative ahead of time. Remember that. Sometimes, can't remember if our LEDs have this or not, they have a marking on the head. Nope, these guys don't, to tell you if they're positive or negative. We'll find out shortly. But this is connected, and we're going to do the same thing down here on the other side.
A message from Chris J. Say hello.
Hey, Chris J.
All right.
Hello to you, too. Oh, on Periscope. People still use that. We signed up, and we're like, do people still use Periscope? Apparently they do. We're going to do the exact same darn thing on this side, coming down, and then putting a few little layers of tape down there on the end. I'm just going to cut an extra long piece because make life easier for me. Ta-da! And go that way. Now, the cool thing is with the maker tape, you can just, again, glue stuff on top of it, cut out more fun, felt things. We do have some templates on our website for like the pirate owl we were showing off earlier. But really, for kids, shapes, squares, you name it, add googly eyes, add ball puffs on there, whatever craft supplies you might do. Think of this as, sock puppet kind of level of arts and crafts for kids. Whatever fun arts and craft supplies you have around, you can just add to this activity. Again, keeping things nice and inexpensive as well, so that everyone has a good time. We're just going to clip this guy down here. Yay. And we're just add a few more little strips of tape to the end to make a nice big pad down there. And as long as I'm making a little bit of overlap, I'm good. Now, another way you could do this too is I could take this tape and wrap it around the end so that I could have this pad on the backside. That's a little more effort than I want to put into this demo right now. But that would also work well for overlapping. That's essentially what we do with our conductive sewing activity.
So I feel like you could get pretty artistic with the tape if you really wanted to.
Oh, if you really want to be artistic, people who do this well, who are much more artistic than I am, they will interlace this tape with other designs.
Yeah.
So I see people doing that with conductive tape on paper a lot, where it becomes part of the activity itself. So ta frickin' da, right there. And I just realized I did not do this properly. I should have had a break in here for my battery.
Oh, right.
I made a mistake. Well, here's a nice part about the maker tape. If I wanted to, I can just peel this puppy up a bit.
That's pretty nice. You can just peel it up. How do the other tapes work when you try to peel them up?
Copper foil will basically make fun of you as it breaks apart and destroys your project. So there we go. So there. Yay. That's literally all I have to do here. And what I'm going to do is a tape loop approach to attaching my battery. You could literally just put your battery here and put tape loops. This will be a little bit more elegant.
Josh, we've got another question
Chris
here.
J, you can get this off of browndoggadgets.com, but
right
also
there.
Amazon. We have this on Amazon as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take my tape. I'm going to cut a little piece of tape off. This is our nylon conductive maker tape. Trademark.
Josh, you know who loves this stuff? Kids.
Ooh.
Kids are going to love this stuff.
Yes, kids do love this stuff. You know who also loves this stuff? Teachers. We're not having to put up with horrible copper foil.
Yes.
Now again, since our tape is conductive on top and bottom, doing a tape loop like this on the bottom of our battery will connect it and keep it stuck there. And then, ta-da, there we go. Top to bottom, I overlapped, we're good to go. And if I put everything correctly, ta-da. And see, I did it. Yay, applause. There we go, simple and easy. Now, I have it this way so you could fold the back side like this. For adjustments, if I was being smarter, when I made this, you take this, one of these two, there we go, one of these two and put it on the back side, just loop the tape around somewhere, then they could just easily overlap like this. I could still do that if I really, really wanted to. But the way to keep these guys together would be the same approach I just took with that battery, where I might just use a big old tape loop to attach the stuff together. And from maker tape to maker tape, it should be just fine. Otherwise, using a safety pin to attach these guys together, it's simple. Whatever works to keep things on your child's wrist for the half an hour, 45 minutes they're interested in this activity. But this is a great rainy day activity, great afternoon project to do. So I'm just going to put a little bit of maker tape right here on a loop. Ta-da! Then I'm going to come back around again like so. and now it's nice and hooked together. It's not going to come apart too easily, and I can just unpeel, add some more maker tape if I want. And this will last quite a bit because the nylon to nylon, it doesn't lose much of its adhesive, whereas the felt, being a nice fuzzy substance, is going to destroy that adhesive pretty quickly. I mean, didn't mess with this too much. Yeah, definitely go on the backside with that. So this is just one of many easy ways of doing it. And yeah, just depends on how you want to make it. Ta-da, bracelet that's lit up. That took 2 minutes of doing versus 20 to 30 minutes of conductive sewing. Yeah, whenever I do conductive sewing projects like this one with Boy Scouts or Girl Scouts, I usually tell teachers and scout leaders hour to hour and a half for the conductive sewing. And that's assuming the kids either have no knowledge of sewing or just a little bit of sewing knowledge. If you're a person who does sewing, just figure you're literally sewing on 4 buttons and stitching by hand between things, because each of these is a tie-on, tie-off point. And then, of course, the decorating. But yeah, adding some Elmer's glue to this, or fabric glue, there we go, to this, easy peasy. Adding on fun decorations. You could do multiple LEDs. I typically say no more than 2 to 3 LEDs per coin cell battery, just because it tends to, they start dimming very quickly after 3 LEDs, especially using blue, white, or color changing. But yeah, these guys work pretty darn well. And again, you can find all this stuff at our website, browndoggadgets.com. We're going to do a little write-up on this guy, make a little diagram for this as well on our website, just to give people something to work off of, and we'll post it on our directions and all the other fun stuff here. If you want to do actual conductive sewing, we have our Crazy Circuits components on our website as well. We have a couple sewing circuits kits as well, with full-on directions how to make these guys you see right here, as well as other things. Gosh, we've done some t-shirts with light-up stuff galore on it. We have a Stranger Things t-shirt that is Arduino controlled, which is nice and awesome, but is an insane amount of sewing. This is a great quick project for kids and uses just the same kind of materials that a paper circuits thing would have. Pete, do you have any other recommendations about building this stuff?
No, I mean, you covered the basics. So from there,
green screen.
From there, oh wow, that's amazing. Put it right in front of your face. It's like magic, movie magic. Yeah, the basics are great. So then you can kind of expand from there. And again, this was a pretty quick project you did in 10, 15 minutes. If you get really crazy with it, you could certainly expand that into an activity that goes, 45 minutes to an hour.
And really, oh gosh, just picking up this guy too. And honestly, the big thing with these projects are the electronics are simple. It's an arts and crafts project at its core. So the electronics, you should just be able to get the kids going. Like, here, this is the easy thing you're doing, the thing you have to do. Now let's add on a bunch of fun decorations, cutouts, stickers, you name it, puff balls. I mean, just whatever your arts and crafts supply closet might have, or Dollar Tree. I love Dollar Tree for cheap arts and crafts. But add them to this kind of project, and you have something interesting that didn't take very long to make, cost you hardly anything, like $2, not even $2 worth of materials there. And yeah, a little bit of felt, and you're good to go for that. And again, if you want to take off your LED and battery and try something else, do it. Add it to a shirt, a jacket, a hat, our lab coat, which is somewhere in this room, all lit up on the back. Same exact idea, just on a bigger piece of fabric. So, hey, thanks for watching. We're doing more live streaming in the near future. We're going to do a fun thing with Make Magazine tomorrow on their channel, makercamp.com. You can sign up for that. But otherwise, all of our information and directions can be found at browndoggadgets.com. And all of our directions are always free, whether or not you want to buy anything from us. So thanks for watching. And yeah, any other questions, email us. Have a good afternoon.